It's the Recruiting Roundup powered by Rock and Refuel Varsity. That's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohn. We'll be back for our spring tour next week. We're in the AC for today. Jason, a lot of new Power 5 schools have come into the mix this spring. It's been a busy time. You mentioned 55 players with Division I offers already for the 2017 class. What are some of these schools that are starting to make their way for the first time into Arizona?
Well, the two that jump out to me right now are TCU and Illinois. They've really never been here in the past. And then we see schools like Memphis and Michigan State coming here and recruiting very heavily. Now, Austin Jackson, the big offense tackle at North Canyon, he's been offered by all of them. KJ Jarrell, the superstar safety at Saguaro, same thing. He got offered by all of those schools. And then we add in Isaiah Pullum out Mountain Point and Jalen Harris at Desert Ridge. They were both offered by Illinois. So we're seeing some new schools coming in here and trying to tap into the talent in Arizona.
Now, why is that? What brings people to Arizona for the first time? Is there something in the water out here that people are just noticing, or are there ties from other programs that are starting to bring new schools into the mix?
Yeah, I think it could be a variety of reasons. In recruiting, you always want to have some connection to the state. So you look at Memphis. Why are they out here? Well, Mike Norvell, Chip Long, and all those guys he brought from Arizona State to Memphis. So it just makes sense. You look at Illinois, the coach that's out here recruiting, Mike Fair, he's an Arizona high school product himself. And even Michigan State, they have some ties with recruiting success in the past, getting Brian Lewerke, getting Cassius Pete to sign with them. And then you see schools like TCU, maybe they're jumping in saying, well, Alabama's been out here recruiting, Texas A&M. So there's obviously some players out there. So let's spend a week out in Arizona and see if we can find a player or two.
Well, one school that it does make sense to be out here in Phoenix or in the great state of Arizona is UNLV. They're only about 4 or 5 hours away. They offered another handful of kids, and some of them their first offers.
Yeah, I mean, the first guy that I'm a big fan of, Roshan Johnston, the linebacker, fullback, running back over at Desert Edge High School. He had a very busy week last week. He was offered by Air Force, UNLV, and by NAU. He's a guy that I'm a big fan of. He's 6 foot, 225 pounds, and like I mentioned, is very versatile. And then the Running Rebels also offered Jax Waycaser, fourth offer for the Saguaro offensive tackle, and Johnny Johnson, the wide receiver at Chandler High School, he got offered by UNLV and then added another one from South Dakota State.
And speaking of South Dakota State, they are always active. So unlike TCU and Illinois coming in for the first time, South Dakota State has made Arizona a hub for them, and they offered a ton of guys in the last week.
Yeah, we mentioned having a connection. So Jimmy Rogers, their linebackers coach, played at Hamilton High School. So that's why they're out here in full force recruiting our guys. Now, they offered a handful of kids over at Chandler High School. They go and they offered TJ Green, the talented running back, who also has offers from Idaho and from Hawaii. And then they extended a first offer to a very talented corner, Imani Lee at Chandler High School, another guy that I like a lot. And then went down to Tucson. And I think this is a very deep year down in Tucson. And the first offer for Stanley Berryhill, a very good wide receiver at Miranda Mountain View, and Brian Becken, a wide receiver / DB at Catalina Foothills, got his first offer from the Jackrabbits.
First offer, Jason, Daniel Peabody.
Yeah, an Ironwood Ridge kid, another Tucson guy, a guy that I am a big fan of his tape. I thought he played with a tremendous motor. He plays defensive line, he plays tight end, but he got his first offer from Army. I'm also hearing that Wyoming, South Dakota State are big fans of his as well.
And then a couple more guys getting offers in the last week, Jason, from the Southeast Valley with Jonathan Nathaniel and the newcomer into town, Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, we've talked about Nathaniel a ton on the Roundup. His 10th offer, he got an offer from San Diego State. And then Ryan Johnson, he's a transfer, moved out here from Michigan. He got his second offer from Eastern Michigan, also holds one from Idaho.
So Jonathan Nathaniel, he's a two-sport guy. He plays rugby as well as football. And you're seeing this spring, Jason, it's standing out from your perspective. A lot of two-sport guys are coming out, and they're making a big impact.
Well, what I've been out to multiple high schools, and I've seen guys that have never played football before or been basketball kids coming out and trying football for the first time. And I'm a big fan of dual sport or multi-sport athletes. But I was out at Central High School. They had a big offense tackle, Michael Vanterpool, that I thought was a big, good-looking kid. Millennium had one of the best-looking kids I've seen and one of the best names. Morningstar Takapu, 6'7", 270-pound tight end Millennium. And I was just over at Pinnacle the other day, and a basketball kid, Connor Hutchings, coming out and playing wide receiver at Pinnacle. So I like these kids. It shows versatility. I like when guys and college coaches like this as well. He shows your versatility, shows that you're out there, you're training, you're competing at a very high level. And a lot of people have this misnomer that I need to concentrate on one sport year round, and I don't think so. I think when you're playing football and then you go and play basketball, you're still training for football. You're learning other sets of skills. So I think it's good for high school athletes to do multiple sports.
That's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. This is the Recruiting Roundup, powered by Rock and Refuel Varsity.